On the second day, it's going to be more active. We're going to have more workshops and more BOFs and more talks instead of presentations. But as the previous day, we will start with a couple of presentations first. So first is Robin again with talking about how his company IsoHunt manages Gentoo and what tools they use. So let's see.
Hey, thanks, Theo. Hi, so once again, I'm Robin Johnson, Robot 2 at Gentoo, and here this talk is briefly one of the things at IsoHunt that we use Gentoo for. So what is IsoHunt? Very quickly, BitTorrent search engine, a couple of racks, couple of locations, many machines, 300 megabits. Does that matter? No, we're 100% Gentoo. That's the entire reason I'm here to give this talk. There's IsoHunt. It just happened to work there. They might pay my salary to do Gentoo. Yeah. So does the shirt need to exist? Probably not. That's it. Everything else is Gentoo. So everybody uses Gentoo profiles. If they use Gentoo, you have to select a profile to have your machine. Originally, profiles were just single parent. That was the original cascading profiles proposal going all the way back 2004. Prior to that, you had to select just a single profile, and profiles had no parent. Later on, about 2008, they realized profiles worked much better with multiple parents, and you could specify a great mix of things. Most commonly, people would use package mask, package use, package force use, unmask, and package accept keywords, which is not the same as package keywords. What? I'll wait for this image to load. This is most of the profiles. This image here excludes everything that's in the prefix tree, and a whole bunch of the end target stuff. There's just too much to see. Profiles are absolutely huge and complex. Zoom in for a moment. This is a subset here. There's AMD 64 and x86, and I've left out all of prefix, all of SC Linux, all of hardened, and up at the top corner there I've left out all of the desktop and server targets as well. I just left that so people can see that subset of what it is actually still exists. This gives you a much better end-up view in here. Where's the mouse cursor? Go back here. Is the mouse cursor visible up there? This end-up here is the actual 10.0 release. It's selecting things, and you can see most of the stuff always traces back to an architecture, as well as the BOS Linux and possible features. Why does it keep jumping in this? But now we can move on. If you end up using profiles, you realize that multi-parent allows you to mix and match potential attributes of any given system. The ones that ended up being useful in our case was realizing that we could mix location, what class of hardware, beyond just is it AMD 64 or x86, specify the hardware down to Nehalem, Core 2 Duo, Xeons, Xeon York fields, what role a given machine is doing. Is it a database, a Lucene server, a router, VM, a web node? And then lastly, regardless of what you do, you're going to want to have to customize a given machine a bit. So you have to end up stacking that in too. So this is one of the example parent profiles. Parent files from our stack profiles. We start with one of the existing base profiles. We have some common stuff that we mix in at the start. We have a location. Most of the time, locations, all we end up doing defining in those is where, for a given location, where the port door is, where our output package builds go to, where the dist files are. There's only a few other minor location-specific changes. We used to have only one location with IPv6 specified in it. And that did used to be a location-specific profile, but now it's common to all of them. The class of the machine, this you can see here, happened to be a database machine. So it actually has the use flags to specify that MySQL should be built as a server, Postgres should be built as a server, and so on. The hardware type, the only thing we tend to specify our hardware type is customizing the actual C flags for a given machine. Again, we used to do more there. And at the very end, we realized there's some stuff that we want to override globally afterwards. So we just mixed in the common one lastly. Once you built this, it ended up being really, really simple. Just instead of having etc. make profile being a symlink, you have it being a symlink just somewhere else. It happens to be your new parent content. And profiles just end up working once you realize that what they do. That's pretty much it for profiles. I put this together originally around 2007. And then I sent it to the Gentoo mailing list in 2009. And I think I got 1 or 2 people commenting, "What the hell are you doing? Profiles were never meant to do that." And I never heard anything from it ever again. I don't know if anybody ever used managed profiles other than us at IsoHunt. But I think people should consider them more as a way to help manage large groups of systems, particularly when there's specific homogeneous axes that you can specify systems on. And I think we're nearly done on that. So I think that's it. Anybody got questions about doing crazy things with profiles? Things that didn't make sense? I've lost everybody. What?
Can I have your script? So
To generate the images?
So I can generate the GNU plot thing for the prefix profiles?
Yeah, it should actually already be in my home directory. Robot to public HTML profile graph.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah. You have to watch out trying to generate the images. I managed to crash graph this sometimes. Just because the image gets so ridiculously large. Anything else? Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Since we have 15 minutes and you're here, feel free to improvise something.
Improvise.
Talk about something, I don't know.
Take off that shirt. Wait, no.
No.
Any questions in general about IsoHunt?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll answer most of them.
What services do you run?
Can you be more specific about the...
Wait.
Well, you mentioned MySQL, Lucene, but anything else you manage or any experiences on demos, do you think?
The stack itself, there's MySQL, there's Postgres, there is MariaDB, there's Lucene, there's Apache, there's LiteHTTPD, there's PHP, there's Perl, MarGalFS. There isn't any Solar, it's all pure Lucene. Pardon? Yeah, Memcached, but is there a Web 2.0 system that doesn't use Memcached these days? I don't think so. The open source stack just works. Mostly just works. When it doesn't, you get to take apart the pieces and fix it. The fact that it's at IsoHunt is entirely irrelevant.
I assume you're using Syngvention or Puppet or something like that to distribute the profiles to the systems?
No,
okay.
we're a little bit crazy that we have our own in-house script, bash shell scripts and people doing things by hand for some of it. We've considered Puppet and CF Engine before, it just never happened.
Why?
All the existing scripts work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No other questions. Thank you, Robin.
Okay.
Next presentation.